Aurelius discovered that freedom isn't about your circumstances, it's about how you see them, and gratitude was his key to unlock that freedom. Today, we're going to explore the most powerful gratitude practice from Stoic philosophy, not the watered-down Instagram caption version of gratitude. I'm talking about a practice so transformative that it can shift your entire emotional baseline. A practice that doesn't ignore pain, but helps you find meaning within it. A practice that the Stoics used to face death, loss and exile with dignity and even peace. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. The Stoics lived through plagues, wars, betrayals and unimaginable losses. Yet they cultivated a profound appreciation for life that most of us can't even imagine. How did they do it? That's what we're going to uncover together. If this message resonates with you, hit that like button. Drop a comment below. I read every single one, and your words fuel this community. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message today. Subscribe to this channel because we're building something special here. We're creating a space where ancient wisdom meets modern life, where you can find real tools for real transformation. The Stoics didn't stumble upon wisdom by accident. They built it brick by brick, practice by practice. And that's exactly what we're going to do together today. Let's start this journey together. Comment: I choose gratitude daily. Number 1. The morning contemplation. Seeing what you have before it's gone. The Stoics had a practice that might seem morbid at first, but it's actually one of the most life-affirming things you can do. They called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. But I prefer to call it the morning contemplation, because it's really about opening your eyes to what's already here. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." He understood that we spend so much energy worrying about losing things that we forget to appreciate having them in the first place. So, he developed a practice that sounds counterintuitive but works like magic. Here's what you do. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you jump into the chaos of your day, take 60 seconds, just 60 seconds, and imagine vividly losing something you love. Not to torture yourself, but to wake yourself up. Imagine waking up tomorrow and your partner is gone. Really feel that. The empty space in the bed, the silence in the house, the texts that will never come, the laughter you'll never hear again. Don't rush past this. Let it be uncomfortable. Because in that discomfort lives something sacred. The crystal clear recognition of how precious they are right now, in this moment. Or imagine losing your health. Picture yourself unable to walk, unable to move without pain, dependent on others for basic needs. The Stoics did this not to be pessimistic, but to shatter the illusion of permanence that makes us sleepwalk through life. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself that everyone he loved would someday die, including himself. Not because he was depressed, but because he refused to waste a single moment, taking them for granted. When you practice this morning contemplation, something extraordinary happens. You stop seeing your life as a collection of ordinary things and start seeing it as an ongoing miracle. That morning coffee isn't just caffeine, it's a moment of warmth in a cold world. Your commute isn't just traffic. It's time you get to spend in your own thoughts, or listening to music, or this video that's feeding your mind. The science backs this up, by the way. Psychologists call it negative visualization, and research shows it's one of the most effective ways to increase life satisfaction. When you mentally subtract the good things from your life, even briefly, you experience what researchers call gratitude amplification. Your brain literally rewires itself to notice and appreciate what you have. But here's the crucial part. This isn't about living in fear, it's the opposite. When you acknowledge that everything is temporary, you stop postponing joy. You stop waiting for the perfect moment to appreciate your life. You realize the perfect moment is now, because now is all we ever truly have. The Stoics weren't trying to be dark or pessimistic. They were trying to be awake. Epictetus taught his students, "Never say about anything, 'I have lost it,' but instead, 'I have given it back.' Everything we have is borrowed. Our loved ones, our health, our possessions, our very lives, all of it is on loan from the universe. And when we truly grasp this, we stop clutching and start cherishing. Try this tomorrow morning. Before you grab your phone, before you think about your to-do list, close your eyes. Pick one person you love. Imagine, just for 30 seconds, that they're gone. Feel that loss. Let it be real. Then open your eyes and feel the gratitude flood in. They're still here. You still have today. Do this with your health, with your home, with your ability to see, to hear, to move. The Stoics knew that we don't appreciate what we have until we lose it. So they chose to lose it in their imagination every single morning so they could appreciate it in reality every single day. This practice will change you. It will make you slower to anger and quicker to love. It will help you see your ordinary life as the extraordinary gift it truly is. Because here's the truth the Stoics discovered. We don't need more to be happy. We need to see what we already have with new eyes. If you're feeling this, drop below. I see my blessings clearly. Number 2, the evening reflection, turning your day into wisdom. While the morning practice opens your eyes to what you have, the evening practice transforms how you learn and grow. The Stoics understood something most people miss. Every single day is filled with lessons, but we're usually too busy rushing to the next thing to actually learn them. Seneca wrote to his friend, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, aware of this habit that's now mine, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by." This wasn't guilt or self-punishment. This was radical self-honesty in service of growth. Here's the practice, and it's beautifully simple. Every evening, before you sleep, sit with a journal or just sit in silence and ask yourself 3 questions. Not to judge yourself, but to learn from yourself. First question, what did I do well today? This isn't arrogance. This is recognizing your own growth and effort. The Stoics believed that acknowledging your progress was essential to continuing it. Maybe you were patient when you wanted to snap. Maybe you showed up for someone who needed you. Maybe you made a healthy choice when the easy choice was right there. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Let yourself feel gratitude for your own efforts. We're so quick to see our failures and so slow to acknowledge our wins. But Marcus Aurelius, ruling an empire, still took time each evening to recognize when he'd acted with wisdom or virtue. He knew that what you focus on grows. Focus on your failures alone, and you'll create an identity built on inadequacy. Focus on your growth, and you'll build momentum that carries you forward. Second question, what could I have done better? Again, not from judgment, but from curiosity. Where did you react instead of respond? Where did you let fear make your decisions? Where did you take something for granted that deserved your appreciation? The Stoics weren't interested in wallowing in regret. They were interested in extracting wisdom from every experience. Epictetus taught that every difficult moment is a training ground. Every person who irritates you is a teacher showing you where you still have work to do. When you ask yourself what you could have done better, you're not beating yourself up. You're mining your day for gold, for the lessons that will make tomorrow different. Here's what's powerful about this. When you identify what you could have done better tonight, you're actually rehearsing for tomorrow. Your brain doesn't just record the mistake, it starts planning the solution. Psychologists call this mental contrasting, and it's one of the most effective tools for behavior change. You're literally rewiring your automatic responses. Third question, what am I grateful for today? And here's the key, be specific. Don't just say, my family or my health. The Stoics knew that generic gratitude doesn't penetrate the heart. Specific gratitude does. Say, I'm grateful my daughter laughed at my terrible joke this morning, even though she's usually too cool for that now. Say, I'm grateful my body carried me through another day without pain, even though I never stopped to thank it. Say, I'm grateful for that stranger who smiled at me in the grocery store when I was feeling invisible. Marcus Aurelius filled his journals with these specific moments of gratitude. Not grand things, small things, the smell of bread, a good conversation, a moment of clarity. He understood that joy isn't found in rare, extraordinary moments. It's found in the ordinary moments we're usually too distracted to notice. This 3-question evening practice does something profound over time. It creates what psychologists call a growth mindset, combined with a gratitude baseline. You start seeing your life not as something that happens to you, but as something you're actively learning from and appreciating. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become a student of your life. The Stoics didn't believe in wasted days. Every day, good or bad, was raw material for wisdom. Every interaction was a chance to practice virtue. Every challenge was an opportunity to grow stronger. But you only extract that wisdom if you stop and reflect. Otherwise, you're just accumulating experiences without learning from them. Try this tonight, just 10 minutes before sleep. Ask yourself those 3 questions. Write them down if you can, but even just thinking through them will change something in you. You'll sleep better, by the way. Research shows that evening reflection and gratitude practices improve sleep quality and reduce anxiety. The Stoics knew this 2,000 years ago. Number 3. The gratitude reversal. Finding the gift inside the obstacle. Now we're getting to the heart of Stoic gratitude, the practice that separates surface-level positivity from deep, unshakable peace. This is what Marcus Aurelius called turning the obstacle upside down, and it's the practice that allowed the Stoics to face unimaginable hardship with grace. Marcus Aurelius wrote one of the most powerful lines in all of philosophy. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Read that again. What stands in the way becomes the way. This isn't just a clever phrase, it's a complete revolution in how you see your life. Here's what the gratitude reversal means in practice. Every obstacle in your life is hiding a gift, and your job is to find it. Not to pretend it's not an obstacle, not to fake happiness about suffering, but to genuinely discover what this challenge is teaching you, strengthening in you, or revealing to you. When Epictetus was asked how to deal with difficult people, he said, "Every person you meet is an opportunity to practice patience, or understanding, or boundaries. They're not interrupting your practice, they are your practice." This is the gratitude reversal in action. The difficult person isn't blocking your growth, they're providing the exact conditions you need for growth. Let me give you the framework the Stoics used. When something goes wrong, when you face a setback, when life throws you a curveball, pause, take a breath. Then ask yourself this powerful question. What is this teaching me, and how might I one day be grateful this happened? That second part is crucial. How might I one day be grateful? Because we all have experiences from our past that seemed terrible at the time, but turned out to be redirections towards something better. The relationship that ended and cleared space for the right person. The job you lost that forced you toward your true calling. The illness that taught you to value your health. The Stoics realized that if this pattern exists in our past, why not apply it to our present? Why not trust that the challenges we're facing right now might also be redirections, teachings, or preparations for something we can't yet see? Seneca was exiled from Rome, stripped of his wealth and status, sent to a desolate island. He could have spent those years in bitterness. Instead, he wrote some of his most profound philosophy. He later wrote, "Disaster is virtue's opportunity." His exile became his awakening. The obstacle became the way. But here's what I want you to understand. This isn't about toxic positivity. The Stoics didn't deny pain. Marcus Aurelius suffered chronic illness. Epictetus was enslaved and physically abused. Seneca lost children, wealth, and eventually his own life. They knew suffering was real, but they refused to let suffering be meaningless. When you practice the gratitude reversal, you're not saying, "This is great," when something terrible happens. You're saying, "This is real, this is hard, and I will find meaning in it. I will grow from it. I will not let this be wasted pain." Research in post-traumatic growth shows that people who find meaning in their struggles don't just recover. They often end up stronger and more fulfilled than before. Psychologists call it benefit finding, and it's one of the most powerful predictors of resilience and well-being. Here's how to practice this. Take one current challenge in your life. Just one. Maybe it's financial stress. Maybe it's a difficult relationship. Maybe it's a health issue. Whatever it is, write it down. Then complete this sentence. This situation is teaching me, and I might one day be grateful for this because, be honest, dig deep. Maybe financial stress is teaching you resourcefulness you never knew you had. Maybe it's showing you what truly matters when the excess is stripped away. Maybe the difficult relationship is teaching you to set boundaries, to speak your truth, to stop abandoning yourself to please others. Maybe the health issue is teaching you to listen to your body, to slow down, to stop taking your well-being for granted. The Stoics knew that we can't control what happens to us, but we have absolute control over what we make it mean. And when you make your obstacles mean growth, learning, and strengthening, you rob them of their power to break you. Number 4, the voluntary discomfort. Practicing gratitude through deliberate scarcity. Here's where Stoic gratitude gets really interesting, and maybe a little uncomfortable. The Stoics didn't just think about gratitude or write about gratitude. They practiced it through their bodies, through their choices, through deliberately experiencing less so they could appreciate more. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, would regularly spend days living like he had nothing. He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" This wasn't punishment. This was perspective. This was gratitude training. The practice is simple but powerful. Regularly choose discomfort. Not constant misery, but periodic reminders of what life would be like with less. The Stoics called this voluntary discomfort, and it's one of the most underrated practices for building genuine appreciation. Here's why this works. Our brains are wired for something called hedonic adaptation. No matter what good things come into our lives, we quickly get used to them and stop appreciating them. That new car becomes just your car. That bigger house becomes just your house. That promotion becomes just your job. We adapt to our blessings until they become invisible. But when you voluntarily step away from your comforts, even briefly, you reset that adaptation. You remember what it feels like to be cold, to be hungry, to go without, and suddenly your warm bed isn't just a bed. Your full refrigerator isn't just groceries. Your comfortable life isn't just life. It's a privilege you're experiencing in real time. Marcus Aurelius, sleeping in the imperial palace, would sometimes sleep on the floor. Not because he was weird or self-punishing, but because he wanted to remember that he was still himself without the luxury. He wanted to practice being content with less, so that if fortune ever turned against him, he wouldn't crumble. And when he returned to his comfortable bed, it felt like luxury again instead of just normal. Here's how you can practice this in modern life, in ways that are challenging but not harmful. Try a day of eating only simple basic foods, rice and beans, oatmeal, simple vegetables, no seasonings, no treats, nothing fancy. Not because you can't afford better, but because you're choosing to remember what enough really means. When you return to your normal meals the next day, you'll taste them like never before. Try taking cold showers for a week. I know, this sounds miserable. But hear me out. When you choose to be uncomfortable, you're proving to yourself that discomfort won't destroy you. You're building resilience. And when you step into a hot shower after that week, it feels like absolute heaven. You appreciate it in a way you haven't since you were a child experiencing it for the first time. The Stoics would fast periodically. They would walk instead of taking a carriage, even when they could afford the ride. They would wear simpler clothes than their status allowed, not because they thought suffering was noble, but because they understood that comfort taken for granted becomes invisible, and invisible blessings can't nourish your soul. Epictetus taught, "If you wish to be loved, love. If you wish to be grateful, practice poverty." By practicing poverty, he didn't mean becoming poor. He meant voluntarily experiencing simplicity so that you could see your abundance clearly again. Modern research completely validates this practice. Studies on gratitude interventions show that deprivation exercises, where people temporarily give up something they normally enjoy, significantly increase appreciation and well-being. When participants gave up coffee for a week, they reported higher gratitude for their morning routine afterward. When they gave up their phones for a day, they felt more grateful for connection. Here's your practice. Choose one comfort this week and voluntarily step away from it. Maybe it's your usual morning coffee. Drink water instead. Maybe it's your car. Walk or bike instead. Maybe it's eating out. Cook simple meals at home. Maybe it's your soft bed. Sleep on the floor one night, or on a yoga mat, or on your couch. Do this not as punishment, but as a reminder, as a practice of gratitude. Because when you return to that comfort, you'll feel something you haven't felt in a long time, genuine appreciation. Not the abstract idea of gratitude, but the felt experience of recognizing a blessing. The Stoics knew that we can't appreciate light without darkness, warmth without cold, abundance without scarcity. So they chose to visit scarcity periodically, not to live there, but to remember how good they had it the rest of the time. Number 5. The perspective shift. Zooming out to see your life from above. The Stoics had another practice that sounds almost mystical, but creates immediate and powerful gratitude. They called it the view from above, and Marcus Aurelius used it constantly to maintain perspective when the weight of empire threatened to crush him. He wrote, "How small a part of the boundless and unfathomable time is assigned to every man, for it is very soon swallowed up in the eternal, and how small a part of the whole substance, and how small a part of the universal soul, and on what a small clod of the whole earth you creep." This wasn't nihilism, this was liberation. Here's the practice. Regularly zoom out from your immediate concerns and see your life from a cosmic perspective. Imagine you're rising up above your house, above your city, above your country, above the earth itself. See yourself as one person among 8 billion. See your lifespan as a brief flash in the billions of years of cosmic time. Now, this might sound depressing at first, like it would make your life feel meaningless. But the Stoics discovered the opposite. When you see how small you are in the grand scheme, two things happen that create profound gratitude. First, your problems shrink to their actual size. That argument with your coworker? From space, it's invisible. That embarrassing moment you can't stop replaying. In the context of cosmic time, it literally doesn't register. The Stoics knew that most of what we stress about is magnified by our narrow perspective. Zoom out, and you see reality more clearly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." The view from above helped him see that even empire-level problems were temporary, manageable, and ultimately small compared to the vastness of existence. But here's the second thing that happens, and this is where the gratitude comes in. When you realize how brief and small your life is, every moment becomes precious. Not less valuable, but more valuable. The fact that you exist at all in this vast universe for this brief time becomes an almost unbearable miracle. Think about it. You are the product of billions of years of cosmic evolution. The atoms in your body were forged in the hearts of dying stars. The odds of you being born with your exact DNA, your exact consciousness, are so small as to be essentially zero. And yet here you are, reading these words, breathing, thinking, feeling, experiencing this strange, brief, beautiful phenomenon called life. The Stoics understood that scarcity creates value. Your life is scarce. You have maybe 80 or 90 years if you're lucky, and you're already through a chunk of those. From a cosmic perspective, your existence is a blink, and that makes it precious beyond measure. When you practice the view from above, you stop sweating the small stuff, not because you don't care, but because you suddenly see what truly matters. Your relationships matter. Your experiences matter. Your choices about how to spend your limited time matter. But the petty grievances, the social comparisons, the manufactured dramas, they dissolve like morning fog when the sun rises. Seneca wrote, "Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements, if it were all well invested. But when it is wasted in heedless luxury and spent on no good activity, we are forced at last by death's final constraint to realize that it has passed away before we knew it was passing." The view from above shows you that your life is passing right now, and that awareness creates a gratitude so sharp it can change everything. Here's your practice. Once a day, take just 2 minutes. Close your eyes. Imagine rising up above your current location. See your house getting smaller, your neighborhood, your city, your state, your country. See the earth as that beautiful blue marble in the darkness of space. See yourself as one brief light among billions. Then bring your awareness back to your body. Feel your breath, feel your heartbeat, and recognize that you get to be here, right now, experiencing this moment. This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is your one life, happening right now. From that perspective, how can you not feel grateful for the simple fact of existence, for the people you love, for the experiences you get to have, for this moment, right here, right now? Feel that. Share it with me. My life is precious now. Number 6, the gratitude for adversity, thanking your struggles for making you stronger. This might be the most counterintuitive practice in Stoic philosophy, but it's also the most transformative. The Stoics didn't just accept adversity, they actively practiced gratitude for it. Not fake gratitude, not pretending to be happy about suffering, but genuine appreciation for what hardship was building in them. Marcus Aurelius wrote something that stopped me in my tracks the first time I read it. The blazing fire makes flames and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. He wasn't talking about actual fire. He was talking about the human spirit. He was saying that everything thrown at you, every challenge, every setback, every loss, can become fuel for your inner fire if you choose to see it that way. But here's what makes this practice different from toxic positivity. The Stoics acknowledged that adversity was genuinely difficult. Epictetus wasn't grateful for slavery because it was fun. Marcus Aurelius wasn't grateful for war and plague because they were pleasant. They were grateful because they recognized that their struggles had forged them into people capable of wisdom, strength, and compassion. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." He understood that we're not built for comfort, we're built for challenge. And when we face challenges, we don't just survive them, we evolve through them. Think about your own life for a moment. Who are you grateful for? People who always made things easy, or people who challenged you to grow? What experiences shaped you most? The comfortable ones, or the ones that pushed you to your limits? The truth is, we're not formed by ease. We're formed by struggle. Here's the practice, and it requires real honesty. Make a list of 3 difficult experiences from your past. Things that hurt at the time. Maybe a rejection, a failure, a loss, a betrayal. Write them down. Then, next to each one, write specifically what strength, wisdom, or capacity it built in you. Maybe that rejection taught you resilience. Maybe it redirected you towards something better. Maybe that failure taught you humility or showed you who your real friends were. Maybe that loss taught you to cherish what you have while you have it. Maybe that betrayal taught you to trust your intuition, to set boundaries, to value loyalty. The Stoics weren't being Pollyanna about this. They weren't saying, everything happens for a reason in some cosmic plan. They were saying something more powerful. You get to decide what your suffering means. You get to choose whether it breaks you or builds you. And choosing to find gratitude in adversity is how you ensure it builds you. Marcus Aurelius faced a son who was cruel and incompetent, knowing his death would put Rome in the hands of someone who might destroy everything he'd built. He could have died in bitterness. Instead, he practiced gratitude for the challenge of leading with wisdom even when the future looked dark. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Modern psychology calls this adversarial growth or post-traumatic growth, and the research is clear. People who actively look for growth and meaning in their hardships don't just recover faster. They often end up stronger and more fulfilled than they were before the trauma. They develop deeper empathy, greater appreciation for life, and a sense of personal strength they didn't know they had. But here's the key. You can't fake this. You can't just slap a positive spin on pain and call it gratitude. You have to sit with the difficulty first. You have to acknowledge it hurt. The Stoics gave themselves permission to feel pain. They just refused to add unnecessary suffering on top of it by making it mean they were broken or defeated. Epictetus taught, "This is what I've been training for. This is my opportunity to show what I'm made of." Not with bravado, but with quiet determination. Every difficulty was a test, and every test was an opportunity to strengthen their character. Your current struggles aren't punishments. They're not evidence that life is against you. They're your training ground. They're building something in you that ease never could. And one day, maybe not today, maybe not this year, but one day, you'll look back and feel genuine gratitude for what they made possible in you. The strongest people you know aren't strong because life was easy. They're strong because life was hard, and they chose to let it forge them rather than break them. Number 7. The present moment practice. Gratitude for what's here right now. The Stoics had a profound understanding that most of our suffering happens in the past or the future, never in the present moment, and they developed a gratitude practice that anchors you completely in now, the only time you can actually experience life. Don't let your imagination be crushed by life as a whole. Don't think of all the difficult things that might still come. Ask yourself about each thing in the present. What is unbearable or unendurable about this? This is the essence of present moment gratitude. Right now, in this exact moment, how bad are things really? Not tomorrow, not next week, not what might happen. Right now. Are you in physical pain this second? Are you in immediate danger? Or are you actually okay, and your suffering is coming from thinking about past regrets or future worries? The Stoics discovered that when you bring your full attention to the present moment, you almost always find that you're okay. Not that everything is perfect, but that right now, in this breath, in this moment, you have what you need. And recognizing that is a form of gratitude that creates immediate peace. Seneca put it this way: true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is abundantly sufficient. Read that again. What you have is abundantly sufficient. Not eventually, not when you get that thing you want. Right now. Here's the practice, and you can do it anywhere, anytime. It takes 30 seconds. Stop whatever you're doing. Take a deep breath. Then engage your 5 senses, one at a time, and find something to appreciate with each one. What can you see right now that's beautiful or interesting? Maybe it's light coming through a window. Maybe it's the face of someone you love. Maybe it's the color of the walls, the shape of a tree outside, the screen you're watching this on. Really look at it. See it like you're seeing it for the first time. What can you hear? Maybe it's music, or birds, or the hum of traffic, or blessed silence. Don't judge it as good or bad. Just notice it. Be grateful you can hear at all. Millions of people can't. What can you feel? The chair supporting you, the ground beneath your feet, the fabric on your skin, your own heartbeat. The simple miracle of having a body that works, that carries you through your days. What can you smell? Coffee, food, fresh air, the scent of someone nearby. Or maybe nothing in particular, and you can be grateful for the absence of unpleasant smells. What can you taste? Even if it's just the taste of your own mouth, the fact that you have this sense that you can experience flavor and nourishment. This practice pulls you out of the mental time machine and plants you firmly in reality. And in reality, right now, you have so much. The Stoics knew that gratitude isn't about your circumstances being perfect. It's about recognizing that in this moment, you're alive, you're aware, and you're experiencing the gift of existence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own." Even in difficulty, he found things to appreciate about being alive and conscious. Research on mindfulness and gratitude shows that present moment awareness is one of the fastest ways to reduce anxiety and increase well-being. When you're fully present, your stress response literally can't activate. Anxiety requires you to be in future thinking mode. Gratitude grounds you in now. The irony is that we spend so much time chasing future happiness that we miss the happiness available right now. The Stoics refused to make that mistake. They trained themselves to find joy in the present, not because the present was always pleasant, but because the present was all they had. Right now, you're breathing, you're thinking, you're learning, you're growing. That's enough to be grateful for. Pause and type this. This moment is my gift. Number 8. The gratitude circle, appreciating every person who made you possible. The final Stoic gratitude practice is perhaps the most beautiful, and it's one that connects you to the web of humanity that made your life possible. The Stoics understood that we don't exist in isolation. Every moment of your life has been touched by countless other people, most of whom you'll never meet or thank. Marcus Aurelius opened his personal journal, Meditations, with something remarkable. Before writing anything about philosophy or his struggles, he spent pages thanking specific people. He wrote, "From my grandfather Verus I learned good morals and the government of my temper. From the reputation and remembrance of my father, modesty and a manly character." He went on for pages, naming person after person and what he learned from each one. This wasn't just polite acknowledgement. This was a deliberate practice of recognizing that he wasn't self-made. Nobody is. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world at that time, knew that he was the product of hundreds of people who had shaped him, taught him, challenged him, and loved him. Epictetus taught, "Remember that you are an actor in a play, the character of which is determined by the playwright. If he wishes the play to be short, it is short. If long, it is long. If he wishes you to play the part of a beggar, remember to act even this role adroitly. And so, if your role be that of a cripple, an official, or a layman. For this is your business, to play admirably the role assigned you, but the selection of that role is another's." What he meant was that we don't choose our circumstances, but we're part of a larger story that includes everyone around us. And practicing gratitude for those people connects us to something bigger than ourselves. Here's your practice, and it's going to require some quiet time and honest reflection. Take out a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. Write, "The people who made me possible," at the top. Then start listing people and what they gave you. Start with the obvious ones, your parents or whoever raised you, not idealizing them, not ignoring their flaws, but acknowledging what they gave you. Maybe they gave you life itself. Maybe they gave you values, work ethic, humor, strength. Write their names and what you received from them. Then think about teachers, not just school teachers, but anyone who taught you anything important. The coach who believed in you, the mentor who opened doors, the boss who saw potential in you, the friend who taught you what loyalty looks like. Write them down. Think about people who challenged you, the rival who pushed you to be better, the critic who made you prove yourself, the person who broke your heart and taught you about resilience. The Stoics knew that sometimes our greatest teachers are the people who made life difficult for us. Now here's where it gets profound. Think about all the people you'll never meet who made your life possible. The farmer who grew your food, the worker who built your house, the engineer who designed your car, the programmer who created the technology you're using right now, the ancestor you never knew who survived long enough to eventually create you. Marcus Aurelius would think about the countless soldiers, builders, farmers and laborers who made Rome possible, who made his life possible. He refused to take credit for being self-sufficient because he knew it was a lie. We're all standing on the shoulders of millions. And then, expand even further. Think about nature itself, the sun that gives energy to everything on earth, the rain that brings water, the trees that give oxygen, the planet itself that provides everything you need to survive. The Stoics believed in acknowledging our debt to the cosmos itself. When you do this practice, something shifts in you. You stop feeling so alone. You stop feeling like you have to do everything yourself. You recognize that you're part of an interconnected web of giving and receiving that stretches back to the beginning of time and forward to generations you'll never see. This practice creates what researchers call relational gratitude, a sense of connection and obligation to others that's one of the strongest predictors of meaning and purpose in life. When you recognize how many people contributed to who you are, you naturally want to contribute to others. Gratitude becomes generosity. The Stoics knew that the most grateful people are also the most generous people. When you truly see how much you've been given, you can't help but want to give back. You become part of the chain of gifts that connects all of humanity. Seneca wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." When you practice the gratitude circle, you start seeing those opportunities everywhere. Every person becomes someone you can thank, learn from, or serve. Tonight, write your list. Include at least 10 people. Write what each one gave you. Then, if you can, reach out to one of them. Send a text, an email, a letter. Tell them what they meant to you. Don't wait for a special occasion. The Stoics knew that life is short and people don't last forever. Express your gratitude while you still can. And here's the beautiful thing. When you thank someone for how they impacted your life, you give them a gift. You show them that their life mattered, that they made a difference. Your gratitude becomes their meaning. We're all connected. We're all made possible by others. And when we recognize that, we stop being isolated individuals struggling alone and become part of something ancient, beautiful and eternal, the human family, giving and receiving, teaching and learning, loving and being loved. Show some love in the comments. I'm grateful for every person. So here we are, 8 practices from the Stoics, philosophers who lived 2,000 years ago but understood something we're still learning today. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a discipline, it's a practice, it's a choice you make every single day. These practices aren't just philosophical ideas, they're tools that can transform your life starting right now. The morning contemplation that helps you see what you have before it's gone. The evening reflection that turns every day into wisdom. The gratitude reversal that finds gifts inside obstacles. The voluntary discomfort that resets your appreciation. The perspective shift that shows you how precious your brief life truly is. The gratitude for adversity that turns your struggles into strength. The present moment practice that anchors you in now. And the gratitude circle that connects you to everyone who made you possible. The Stoics didn't live easy lives. They faced war, plague, exile, slavery, loss, and death. But they found something that most people never find, even in comfort: genuine peace. Not because everything was perfect, but because they trained themselves to see the gifts hidden in every moment. You don't need perfect circumstances to practice gratitude. You just need to start. Pick one of these practices. Just one. Try it tomorrow morning. Try it for a week. See what changes in you. If this video has given you something valuable, hit that like button right now. Drop a comment below telling me which practice you're going to try first. I genuinely want to know. Share this video with someone who needs this message today. And subscribe to this channel because we're building a community of people who refuse to sleepwalk through life, who choose wisdom over comfort, who practice gratitude as a path to freedom. The Stoics left us a gift. Let's not waste it. Thank you for being here. Now go practice.